everyone. I'm Sarah Bedat, and I would like to talk today about problems of translating English cell phone jargon into Arabic. This topic is taken from a master's thesis from Najah National University. It was written by Saja Abdel Fattah under the supervision of Dr. Ayman Nazal. Let me show you the structure of thesis. This thesis is divided into 5 main chapters. Chapter 1 includes the introduction to the thesis and some main concepts. This chapter gives an outline of what the thesis is going to discuss, focusing on defining technical translation and seeing how technical terms differ from other terms. Moreover, this chapter defines Arabization, neologism, and naturalization as the main concepts related to cell phone terms. Chapter 2 includes a review of related literature to technical translation and to technological field. In particular, the reviewed work includes technical translation challenges and problems associated with the translation of technical terms and technological terms. Chapter 3 includes the description of the methodology used in this thesis. It consists of study population and provides significant details to study subjects. It also highlights on methods used and resources of collecting data. Chapter 4 describes and analyzes the translation of each group of study subjects. The discussion covers the main problems that are faced by the study subjects, the reason for their confusion or for their inability to translate cell phone terms, and the strategy they used. Besides, it includes the possible translation of each term by experts. And the last, chapter 5, is devoted to the conclusion of the study in addition to making relevant recommendations. Abstract of this thesis. The study aims at investigating the problems of translating English cell phone terms into Arabic, as well as the strategies used in translating such terms. This study is based on a questionnaire which includes 30 cell phone terms collecting from different websites presenting cell phone terminology. The terms were distributed to students at Najah National University. The population in this study consists of 2 groups. Groups 1 include 57 computer and telecommunication engineering students who had finished around 120 credit hours or above with a grade a point average of 3.0 or more. Group 2 consisted of 45 or above with a grade point average of 3.00 or more. The researcher describes and analyzes the translation by study subjects to examine the problems that face them. Then, these translated terms are evaluated by 7 experts who work in the field of computer and telecommunication technology to establish a suggested translation of each term. The analysis of subjects translation revealed that the study subjects face many problems in giving the appropriate translation for each term. These problems are the use of literal translation, the wider use of Arabization, a failure to capture the function of cell phone terms, the subject's lack of sufficient experience and practice in the translation of cell phone terms, and the lack of specialized Arabic dictionaries to help in translation. To render the given cell phone terms from English into Arabic, the subjects use different translation strategies, which are literal translation, Arabization, omission, paraphrase, functional equivalence, and translation by a more general word, which means generalization. The purpose of this study. This study aims to examine the problems of translating cell phone jargon into Arabic. In order to do so, the researcher analyzes data taking into consideration the way the study subjects translate each term depending on different strategies they use to find the problems that subjects subjects face while translating. The rapid progression of cell phone technology forced the user to learn the whole language to be able to understand even the simplest cell phone terms. The researcher focuses mainly on translating 30 specialized terms for the benefit of a non-specialized audience to help them access the field of technology easily. Statement of the problem. The main problems connected with the inability of students to give translation of cell phone terms is due to semantic inexpertness in field of information technology in general and cell phone jargon in particular, and to a lack of existing technological dictionaries related to cell phone jargon. Many members of a non-specialized audience will neither use such terms nor understand the meaning of them. Thus, this will affect the marketing of cell phone because the layman will not understand the function of newly invented techniques featured in the latest cell phones. For the question of the study, this study attempts to find answer to the following questions. What the problem which study subjects encounter in translating cell phone terms? What are the reasons behind study subjects' confusion or inability to translate cell phone terms? What translation strategies are used to render cell phone terms into Arabic? Methodology, population of the study. The present study is based on two mainly groups. On two main groups of both gender. 57 computer and telecommunication engineering students who had finished 120 credit hours or more with with a grade point average 3.00 or more, and the other group consisted of 45 MA translation students who had completed 21 credit hours or more and who had maintained a grade point average of 2.8 or more at An-Najah National University. After that, the translated terms are evaluated by experts and professionals in the computer and telecommunication technology to get to a possible translation of each term. The researcher chose 7 experts who studied and work in concerning field to evaluate the translating terms according to the instructions of the researcher's supervisors. Okay. The resources of data collection. The questionnaire was used to examine different cell phone terms identified by the researcher. 30 cell phone terms used in the questionnaire consist of single words, compound, and abbreviations. All terms are related to cell phone jargon and chosen from different websites and manuals related to cell phone terminology, either concerning iPhone, Android phones or others. The terms used are chosen according to the level of difficulty approved by the experts in the subject field. An instrument of the study. A questionnaire was carried out as a mean of collecting data for the purpose of analysis. The questionnaire was distributed to the population of the study to investigate the main problems and difficulties of translating English cell phone terms into Arabic. The researcher distributed the questionnaire by hand to engineering students and MA translation students at An-Najah National University. Okay. For the section pointing and discussion chapter is divided into parts. The first one is analysis of error and challenges as revealed of students translation, MA translation students, and engineering students. Term 1, tone mapping. Tone mapping is a technique used in image processing and computer graphics to map one set of colors to another to approximate the appearance of high dynamic range image images in a medium that has a more limited dynamic range. Unlike the first term, this term is highly specialized to the field of telecommunication technology, so many students render the term wrongly. The result shows that 66.6% of engineering students and 76.7% of MA translation students translation were generally unacceptable, as in نغمة رسمة الخرائط، تعيين النغمة، توصيل النغمة، خرائط الرنات أو خريطة الرنات. The problem is the term tone mapping translated literally as tone نغمة and mapping الخرائط. So the subjects produced inappropriate meaning as form A to D. The subjects have recognized that tone mapping has to deal with tones of mobile, so they couldn't manage to give the appropriate translation in Arabic. They should have a good background knowledge relating to the field of telecommunication technology because no bilingual dictionaries have this term. Only 3.5% of engineering students and 4.7% of MA translation students rendered the term appropriately. The following are some examples of acceptable translations. تقنية تقريب درجة اللون في الصورة لأقرب مدى العين. تقنية تعديل درجة اللون في الصورة لتبدو أكثر وضوحاً. Because the term has no equivalent in Arabic, subjects and professionals want to use paraphrase. About 29.9% of engineering students and 80.6% of MA translation students answers were blank. The second term is micro SD. Micro SD is a format for removable flash memory cards, and it is a tiny storage accessory that you insert in your phone to massively boost capacity. The cards are commonly used in mobile phones as well as in some newer handheld GPS devices, portable media players, and digital audio players. SD stands for Secure Digital. Despite the clearness and daily use of this term, the results were inconvenient. Only 61% of engineering students and 35% of MA translation students managed to get the appropriate meaning as indicated by the following: ذاكرة تخزين، ذاكرة إضافية، ذاكرة. Some engineering students, 26.3% and 58% MA translation students provide an acceptable translation as in شريحة SD micro. One of the reasons behind these results is the students mix up the concepts with each other. They thought micro SD as the same as SIM card, yet it is totally different. Micro SD is memory card, whereas SIM is a subscriber identity module for a mobile phone. Another reason for unacceptable translation is the use of Arabization method, which doesn't reflect the meaning of the term. Besides that, this term has an equivalent in Arabic, so there is no reasons for Arabization. The study subjects should avoid Arabization when there is an equivalent in Arabic. Also, the studied subjects should use the dictionaries to understand the differences in meaning between close terms. The last term is 4G. Is the fourth generation of mobile telecommunication technology succeeding 3G. A 4G system must provide capabilities defined by ITU and IMT Advanced, Potential and current applications include amended mobile web access, IP telephony, gaming service, high definition mobile TV, video conferencing, 3D television, and cloud computing. Therefore, the term is closely related to 3G and is only different in the speed of internet provider. The percentage of unacceptable translation was higher in this term. 63% of MA translation students and 52.7% of engineering students failed to get acceptable translation, such as following examples: جيجا بايت، الجيل السابع من الهواتف النقالة، وقت المكالمة في الجيل الرابع، عمر البطارية في الجيل الرابع. The problem in rendering this term is the same as for 3G talk time. There is no background knowledge for the real feature of this term. Moreover, some students want to mix this term with for GP, as in GP stands for gigabyte, and it is a measure of storage capacity. Others misunderstood the meaning of term as form B to D, so they rendered inappropriately. 40% of MA translation students and 22% of engineering students gave acceptable explanations as in تقنية الاتصال اللاسلكي في الجيل الرابع بسرعة عالية. The second part is the strategies employed by subjects of both groups in the translating of cell phone terms. After analysis of the data and questionnaires, the researcher herself managed to find out some of strategies that had been selected by the subjects in both groups. They used different strategies to translate cell phone terms. The following are examples of the strategies which were recognized. The first one, literal translation, is used for some terms, yet this strategy is not always successful. For example, air time, وقت الهواء, pixel focus, وحدة تركيز. A translation using a more general word. This strategy is used when subjects understand only the main elements of the term and translate it into Arabic, as in stylus, qalam. Paraphrase. This strategy is used when translating terms that do not have equivalent. It involves giving an explanation and definition of term. For instance, mapping tone, تقنية تقريب درجة الألوان في الصورة لأقرب مدى للعين. Omission. This strategy is used with terms that consist of more than one part, such as compounds. In practice, this means deleting one or more of the elements of the source language term, such as retina display شاشة. Arabization is the strategy involves little changes of the phonetics and morphology of the foreign term. It consists of writing the English techniques terms using the Arabic alphabet with no variation in its pronunciation in the Arabic language, such as Bluetooth, Android. And the conclusion of this study. The results of this study show that the translation of cell phone terms is problematic for both MA translation students and engineering students. In addition, the findings indicate that subjects have an obvious weakness in finding acceptable translation and appropriate description for the terms that either mostly cannot be found in English Arabic dictionaries or have no equivalent in Arabic. Examining the errors and the students made in translation cell phone terms, the study making the following observation, which show the problematic nature of the translation of cell phone terms into Arabic. The use of literal translation in the translation of terms into Arabic has shown that there are a considerable number of terms which were translated literally but failed to translate well into Arabic. Literal translation does not always give a correct translation and may provide an inappropriate translation. The wider use of Arabization by the subjects in the study in order to transfer the meaning from source language to target language. Subjects tend to use the strategy to overcome the problem of non-equivalence and neologism. They also used it when the transfer terms cannot be found in English Arabic dictionaries. Lack of knowledge of cell phone jargon, there is insufficient knowledge of telecommunication technology to help in transferring the meaning and function well. The last one is some subjects are likely to use general words to transfer the meaning of the terms into the target language in case when the target language has a specific equivalent for it. Recommendations based on the finding of the study, there are several recommendations to be put forward as following. Universities offer theoretical and practical courses of translation concerned with how to translate and deal with technical terms in technology specifically. There should be a specialized bilingual dictionary of cell phone jargon, and the study subjects should be aware of acronyms in this field. A committee should be set up the specify Arabic equivalent for each cell phone term, and it should be aware of updates to term and intervents in the field of to provide new equivalents rapidly. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.